I find conspiracy theories very interesting and easily dismissed. I don't like the idea that there is a unified theory for anything, and I think I would be as equally cautious about seeing about searching for that as I would in dismissing Einstein's search for a unified theory. I don't think it exists. I think the unified theory that was imposed on us for centuries, which that was God, and that no longer seems to work. God has a place, but not as a unified theory for everything. Galileo proved that wrong. After World War II, this sort of as we enter the Cold War, this obsession with conspiracy, with trying to find an alternative overarching theory to explain away everything that we couldn't explain, no longer God, but then something else. The maniacal machinations of one individual. It just doesn't work. And the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963, this was a sort of pivotal moment. And the Warren Commission's official report, which concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, was met with widespread criticism, as I think it should have been. It led to a proliferation of alternative theories and to the development of this overarching conspiracy. But it was in 1967 that the CIA coined the term conspiracy theory to dumb down those people who were advancing questions about the Warren Commission's findings, and the effort to label dissenters as irrational, paranoid, and absurd contributed to this negatively coined, negatively to this expression which has a negative connotation. And Watergate follows fast on that. The fantasies about the fake moon landing. All of this is, it makes for very good reading, but it doesn't make for a groundwork, a bedrock on which to base a fundament. A fundament. It's not fundamental, and fundamentalists, by definition, are slightly crazy. The fundamentalists in America, which gave rise to the term fundamentalism, this was a term of abuse. And I think we have to recognize those people who are looking for one single solution are anchored into a sort of madness. The media and the pop culture thing, the internet age, which has simply nurtured this madness, the political polarization, particularly in recent years, the resurgence of conspiracy theories, particularly with 9/11, 7/7, the financial crisis of 2008, COVID-19, both the emergence of the disease and the development of the vaccine, all fertile ground for conspiracy theories, with significant portions of the population questioning official accounts, because the official accounts are clearly based on deceit. But it doesn't mean, if the official accounts are lying, it doesn't mean that there is one universal truth out there. This is the same problem that I've been talking about repeatedly, about the difference between the problem and the solution. The problem may be perfectly reasonable. I may agree with your problem. I don't agree automatically with your solution, particularly if the solution is pulling on the web of conspiracy theories and this mainstream idea that historical events manifest deliberate efforts to manipulate us, and I'm not discrediting alternative narratives, but I am discrediting I am questioning the idea that there is a unified theory. There is no unified theory. We live in a world where accident and chaos and stupidity are probably significantly more prevalent and influential than a single malevolent force. And TonyDick, as ever, adds such an important voice to the debate, and I'm so grateful for his comments. And but I urge caution about this conspiracy theory stuff. He's talking particularly about Archbishop Vigano's claims. Archbishop Vigano is a critic of Pope Francis, who's now been excommunicated, and he's made various allegations about corruption and mismanagement within the church. He is right to make those allegations. He is wrong to see them as having a single explanation, and that is why I think it's right to excommunicate him. I think it's right to push him to one side. I don't really approve of the idea of excommunication, but I think I approve of the idea of recognizing that this is a crazy person who needs to be sidelined and then nurtured. But I think excommunication is one step too far. And Tony suggests that instead of dismissing the claims of Vigano, they should be thoroughly investigated. Of course they should. And it underscores a broader call for accountability, not within the church, but in society generally, and transparency within institutions. As for the pandemic and flu deaths, which Tony goes on about, the drastic reduction in flu deaths reported during the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic implies a possible recategorization of flu cases as COVID-19 spread to exaggerate the pandemic severity. I don't believe that anything other than stupidity would have accounted for the change in bureaucracy. I think you're underestimating the power of stupidity, and you're overestimating the power of one person or one group's influence. And citing the US vaccine adverse event reporting system, VAERS, Tony notices a significant increase in reported adverse events following COVID-19 vaccinations compared to previous vaccinations. He argues that the lack of an official explanation this fuels suspicion about the safety of these vaccines, the reliability of the health authorities. Yeah, but the fact that there is suspicion, the fact that these vaccines may not be as safe as was promoted, doesn't mean there is a universal explanation. You point to excess deaths in countries with high vaccination rates as potential evidence of vaccine-related harm, but it doesn't mean it was intentional. Certainly, this data merits further investigation rather than dismissal, and I agree. But the fact that the fact that Pope Francis and other political figures are associated with globalist organizations like the World Economic Forum does not mean that there is some sort of conspiracy. It simply means these are political figures who are on the world stage, and the World Economic Forum is part of that world stage, as is the Bilderberg Group. These affiliations, I don't think there's not some sort of overarching nemesis. There's not some sort of overarching plan. Look, conspiracy theories are all about finding an overarching solution to a problem. In the past, in the Middle Ages, that was God. People want to find solutions for things they don't understand. People have in the 19th century, we knew everything. We knew the things we picked up. We knew who'd made them. We knew where we bought them from. We knew where we'd got our vegetables from. Now we don't. Now we are living in a vacuum where we know nothing, and we want answers. And God no longer works as a concept to give us answers for the things we don't know, so we want answers elsewhere. So we talk mystically about the WEF. It doesn't work. Tony, when you say Pope Francis is a globalist, of course he is, because he's been on the stage for long enough, and he hasn't submitted to the globalists. He is part of that. He is a global figure. That's it. One of the globalist organs, you say, is the WEF. Of course it is. In the UK, we have a prime minister who attends these meetings. Of course he does, because he's on the world stage. And it doesn't mean people are going to be. It doesn't mean he goes there to be indoctrinated. He goes there to learn what people are saying. And, it's David Lammy, same thing. David Lammy has to learn on the job. Keir Starmer has to learn on the job. And you finish the point off by saying Archbishop Vigano's only crime was to point out what is happening and which side His Holiness is on. I'm not sure that is his only crime. As an archbishop in the Catholic Church, in this pyramidal structure with the Pope at the head, he is there to support the Pope. So to criticize the Pope so openly is to let the side down. But he shouldn't be excommunicated. Excommunication is the stuff of the Middle Ages and is a nonsense approach to solidarity and reciprocity and community. The Pope needs to take a needs to take a look at the way orthodoxy operates, or collegiality. He needs to look at some of the finer print in Vatican II. So the Pope is wrong, but then